Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Soklal, and I was temporarily substituted yesterday. We're rotating the squad. You know, we had John Michael Williams here, James. We had a very exciting set of games today. Like, I was kind of speechless with the score lines that I saw, the way how the games ended. But before we get started, folks, we're here down at Smokey and Bunty's on the Avenue in Trinidad and Tobago. James, tell the lovely folks why they need to come down here.
Well, you want to come down here and enjoy it. It's an iconic bar. You can hear it's loud. There's lots of offers we have on, different drinks on sale, and then obviously we have these wonderful prizes with the prize from our friends at Venture World Travel. We have shin guards, we have things from Angostura, things from Stag, and we have that final on the 18th. Lots and lots of things to look forward to, Andre.
Yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. I'm going to try, if time permits, to probably do some FIFA predictions on the PS5, see how accurate the PlayStation gets it, and a whole bunch of other things as well. We're going to head into the first game. Morocco took on Spain, and that game did not go how a lot of people expected, except for Jan and maybe myself and a couple others, where we thought it was, Morocco had a chance. They had players like Hakimi and so on. But it went to a penalty shootout, James. Spain crashed out. They had a terrible shootout. What were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, before we talk about the penalty shootout, I thought Morocco's game plan was absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. They pressed Spain at times. They had, obviously, a low block. They defended, for their life at times. But when they attacked with purpose. Mm-hmm. And when you've got guys like Ziyech and Nesri up front, Boufal, absolutely fantastic. They can go forward with pace, mm-hmm. and they hurt Spain at times. Yeah. I mean, Spain tried the normal tactic, pass the ball to death, and he did. I mean, I have to say, I found some of Luis Enrique's tactics and the players he chose a little off, because he chose Marcos Asensio up top today, right?
Yeah.
And I find, to me, he is not centre forward. He's an attacking midfielder at most. Maybe he thought that, he's going to play behind and let the other two go forward. I don't know what was his tactical thought there, but it did not work, and he had to make changes because of this. But all in all, he'll be heavily disappointed. And there was even a point I heard from one of the commentators saying that he told his players they had to practice 1,000 penalties before this game, before this competition. It didn't look like it, because to me, when you saw the penalties, obviously, you have to give a lot of credit to Bono, the goalkeeper. Yep. Came up with some big saves, but Morocco, absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see an African team into the quarterfinals.
Yes, and let's we take a look at its stats like we always do. Spain dominated possession, like they, as expected, 77% versus 23, 13 shots versus 6 for Morocco, 1 on target, which is the interesting stat, versus 2. James, we spoke about this at the beginning of the tournament. That goal scoring, the finishing touch that Spain lacks. It haunted them at the Euros. It doesn't seem like they have that solution. I know the modern way of playing football is that you don't really play with a striker anymore, supposedly, depending on your tactics. But clearly, it came back to bite Luis Enrique, and in the end, in theory, they should have had the supposed better kick takers after all the practicing. But in the end, the match was decided by that. So, do you think the lack of a goal scorer came back to bite them?
Well, the fact is, he tried to bring on Morata, obviously, later on in the game, The fact he didn't start him, I find it very strange, because, like I said, I don't see Asensio as that centre forward. And the fact is that you mentioned he had basically 1 shot on target.
Yep.
He had 13 shots, but 1 was on target. It says it all, in the game. So I think he will be sitting at home and thinking, what if? Because, they have good benches. They have players on there that, can make a difference. But, again, a lot of credit has to go to Morocco. I think Amrabat in the middle was absolutely fantastic, and I think he's a player that is going to get a move to England or something, because absolutely sensational.
Yes, and once again, how far in terms of strikers, from the years of David Villa, Fernando Torres, Raul, Morientes, and now, Morata is a player who I like, but, truth be told, he's not even close in terms of, I would say, I don't want to use the word class, because he has his strengths, but, those strikers from that period versus what Spain has now, do you think that is a problem, because we're not really seeing any up-and-coming strikers of that mold in the Spanish setup?
Well, it definitely has to be a problem, because they're out.
But in the future,
it is, yes. Even the fact is, they obviously had Torres and Olmo there, but to me, Torres does not live up to that 50 million price tag that was paid for him, to me, honestly. Yeah. Olmo has had an okay tournament, in my opinion, but again, they're more wide players. Mm-hmm. And But again, we know Luis Enrique, when he was coaching Barcelona as well, he likes to play that way, you know?
Yeah.
He does. He likes to play a 4-3-3. But when I look through the squad, I mean, to me at times, for example, Busquets was dropping back to be a centre-back as well.
Yeah.
So the system to me does not work. And again, very evidently, I mean, they were able to get the draw in real time or in the 90 minutes, extra time. But penalties, wow. I mean, some of those penalties were just about as woeful as the ones yesterday from Japan.
Oh my God! So let's talk about the penalties, because there's such heart-wrenching, moments for the fans. But also, this is where goalkeepers, as Jan mentioned, and James is also part of that goalkeeping union. They were pretty terrible. I don't know what is, as from a goalkeeping perspective, what do you think Spain should have done? Because a lot of people don't pay attention to these factors. You run for 120 minutes. Your experienced players have been here before. You've been practicing this. These guys are no amateurs at all. They've been playing at the highest level. What went wrong? We'll talk about the kickers, and then we'll also talk about Morocco's keeper. So let's hear it.
Well, the one thing I would say, we use a lot of data these days.
Yeah.
You know it because obviously we were working with the national team, so we have access to, from a goalkeeping perspective, where players are going, but also where goalkeepers are diving.
Right.
So from both sides, there should be research done there. And the simple fact that Luis Enrique said that they practiced all these penalties says to me that they should have been ready.
Yeah.
They were not. I mean, for example, Busquets missed, Sarabia missed as well, the first one. Soler missed. So these are not unexperienced players. I mean, they're big players in there.
Yeah.
So to me, you have to. I mean, I always say personally, it's easier for the striker than the goalkeeper because. But the goalkeepers came up big this time. To me, obviously, Bono did his homework.
Yeah.
You can completely see that he probably watched to say, well, this is where they're going. Some mark their bottle. Sometimes you see the goalkeepers with a bottle, and it's got where they're going to go. I mean, I didn't see no bottle, but he had it up here. So very, very important. And he was a key man. And funnily enough, he's been exceptional, with the exception of the one game he missed.
Correct.
Through the injury. He's been excellent. So a lot of kudos to him. I mean, the fact that Ziyech, Hakimi scored their penalties as well. Big players stand up at big moments. And this was a massive moment for Morocco.
Yes.
And they'll be absolutely delighted.
Correct. And this raises another question before we move along and speak about who they have to play and so on. Penalty kick takers, as you said, there's a lot of data and analysis going on. And to me, it is, and Messi and Ronaldo mentioned this, that sometimes when they take penalties now, it even puts a little bit of a doubt in their minds because they know these keepers have research on them. Do they go with the traditional kicks? Do they try something different? And that indecision sometimes leads to what we see today. And I think that is something that's happening now because of the nature of the game. Chesney as well, we saw that penalty save against Messi and so on. I think we're going to see a lot more of these. I think penalty shootouts, especially for me, this is just a theory of mine, for players who are more exposed. Like I'll use the Ronaldos and the Messis, for example, but popular players, it's no longer easy to score penalties. And I think Spain's players being in top tier leagues, it may have come back to haunt them because you have Hakimi and those guys.
One of the things I would say is when you see the camera angles now, I mean, nowadays in football, we get to see it in all different intricate angles. And when you look at that, penalty spot to the goal up close, it looks very daunting. I mean, it was a time when I was watching the players walk up, and even although, yes, the goal's a big goal, it looked, when you see the goalkeepers, generally the goalkeepers at the World Cup are pretty big now. There's not any of them that are that small. They're big frame.
Yeah.
So it must be daunting for these players.
Correct.
And it was today. And the simple fact is, Morocco, I don't know if they rehearsed it because to me, they looked as if they wanted to win it in game time.
Yep.
The way they pressed forward, I mean, they had 2 or 3 opportunities at the end of extra time, one in the first half, one in the second, and they looked like they wanted to put it to bed. But kudos to them again, all credit to them and their coach, who's had a fantastic tournament as well. They'll be feeling they can go on and take on MD now.
Yes, we'll have a quick touch on this, but we'll explain a little bit more afterwards. Obviously, they take on Portugal, which we'll explain a little bit in the after the break, folks. Do you think these guys have enough to go all the way to the finals? Do you think Portugal is a hurdle too far for them?
I think with the squad that Portugal have, we saw obviously, or we'll talk about the result in the Portugal game in a minute, but I think it might be just one step too far this time. But again, if Morocco bring that pressing football, I mean, they have some really good defenders too. I mean, they have guys like I try to remember his name, Agerd, Sace, who had a great game. Hakimi obviously plays right full back, but they seem to be very organised, and that comes from the goalkeeper. It comes from the coach setting them out, and they're solid, and they thrown themselves into every tackle, and they have that passion. So with respect to that, they could pull off some other results, but I just think Portugal will probably be too strong.
Yes. So we'll talk a little bit about that more when we return. So let's hear a lovely message from the kind folks of Biotech. They always got something lovely to say, so let's hear them.
Biotech Plus is internationally certified for all clinical disinfection and sterilisation, all infectious disease control and surgical instruments.
All right, so we're back. So we have so much to talk about, but before we get back into the football, James, I want the folks to take a look at this, and James will be getting his soon. It's a lovely Argentina watch from the kind folks of SJG Watches and Accessories. It's beautiful looking. There's an analog and a digital one for those of you who like the smart watches, which will pop up on the screen any second now, as you can see. If you want to support your team and you like those little bit of accessories like I do, James is going to get his Portugal. I have my Argentina. If you want to get those, I'll put some information in the description below where you could head down and get them in the Gasparilla Mall in Gasparilla. I also think they do deliveries as well. We'll probably have a couple here for some of the shows. And, maybe, if you guys are nice, we may have a giveaway. So you can let us know in the comment section below your favorite team, why you like them, who you think is going to win. It doesn't necessarily have to be a team that's still in the tournament. A lot of people still thinking that their team should still be there. Some teams are not in the World Cup, Italy. But, let us know what you think about that. So we have these watches. Take a closer look, folks. It's terrible, my view, but that's it there. So come on down. Check it out. Get a watch. So now back to the football, James. The game that a lot of people are talking about. James has his Portugal jersey. Portugal crushed Switzerland 6-1. Before we get into the tactics and the stuff we usually do, one of the annoying things that was popping up before the game started was Ronaldo not going to start. So before we get started, what do you think about that situation before we get started?
Well, it's an interesting one because obviously we're being told that there was an argument after the last game because Ronaldo came off. He wasn't happy about it. Santos wanted to kind of discipline a little bit. But whether it's that or not, because that's one side of the coin, but it could just be tactical because the fact is, if you're able to get through this game without Ronaldo and have him fresh for other games, that could be a plus as well. And bring somebody else in who is a younger player who came on and scored 3 goals. So there's two ways to look at it. I mean, all the haters or all the people that don't like Ronaldo will say it's because of that. And I'm pretty sure it was a little bit of a smack bottom there for Ronaldo. But we just don't know because we don't have access to call the coach and ask him. And as I say, there's bigger things at play here. Because at the end of the day, even if Ronaldo was disciplined, if they go on and win the tournament now, nobody's going to remember that.
Yep.
So it's about winning, it's about getting results, and it's about who gets their hands on that trophy.
Yes, we know folks have their opinions, but the truth is we really don't know what's going on. I know there's a lot of hysteria because of the Manchester United situation, but it is what it is. I think it was tactical. To me, it's positive for Portugal that you'll have somebody like Ronaldo on the bench. They score 6 goals. The players look confident. Leao, in particular, is a player I like from Syria, from AC Milan. They look really great. And, the goal scorers today, Ramos scored 3 goals. A hat-trick. Then we had Pepe, the veteran, getting in on the score sheet. Guerrero and Leao with that amazing goal at the end. James, let's talk about the performance of Portugal. A lot of people thought it was going to be closer, but it clearly was just a smackdown.
Well, Portugal destroyed them. I mean, with the exception of the goal from Akanji for Switzerland, obviously a little bit of, I won't say bad defending, but a break of the ball from a header, a nice little goal at the back post there. But Portugal were fantastic. Ramos took his first goal. I mean, it was an absolute rocket past the goalkeeper.
Yep.
Sommer had no chance. And then we talk about the Leao goal at the end as well. Absolutely fantastic. So, from a Portugal standpoint, things are looking rosy.
Yep.
So, no matter what's happening off the field, it's the result that's most important, and people will be standing and looking and saying, wow, this is a team that with so much going forward, and then when you've got guys like Pepe who can come and score, be one of the oldest players in the tournament and still perform at that level, and then obviously Guerrero got a goal as well. So to me, it was a complete performance. I even thought Carvalho had a very good game in the middle. So I mean, when I look through the team, there's no real weakness there, really. I mean, we said before the tournament, my worry was centre midfield. To me, they kind of addressed that today. And this is why I'm saying it could have been a discipline thing, but I think maybe there's a fact it could be tactical too with the Ronaldo switch. Because now you've got the next game against Morocco, obviously, and Ronaldo can come in fresh, or you may drop him and play him wide now this time rather than up top. So there's so many talking points. From a Swiss point of view, Sommer came back in, obviously had an illness. I thought Shaqiri had a good game though. I mean, he's a player, he's a workman-like player. Doesn't look the best athlete, I have to say sometimes. He's short, he's a little stocky, but very, very good at protecting the ball. Fantastic set pieces. I didn't think Xhaka had the best of games today for Switzerland. I thought Mbolo, he's been very good in the tournament, but today he just didn't have a great game. And all in all, Portugal destroyed Switzerland. The Swiss team will be heading home on that plane, but the right team's going through, and as I say, that's what we want in the quarterfinals.
Yes, and we'll show a contrasting style, and I'll bring this up because, as always, we talk about the stats. Portugal had 47% possession, which was less than Switzerland. They had 53. 15 shots for Portugal, 13 for Switzerland. 9 on target for Portugal, 3 for Switzerland. And this is a point I've been making throughout the tournament. The possession was pretty equal. In some cases it was less, but Portugal was efficient when they needed to be. And a lot of arguments, I think Jan mentioned it as well in an off-camera discussion about, during the World Cups there's different styles of play, and some are more effective than others depending on, the footballing culture at the time. It seems to be like, the possession style football is not really working out for a lot of teams. We've seen it, Spain, they dominated possession in the other game. Portugal didn't dominate possession like that, but they were effective. Now, a lot of people are going to have to ask themselves, we all love that beautiful possession football, but Portugal played, they got it done. Possession versus effectiveness, what do you think, James? Portugal seems to be getting it right. And
possession
Brazil
against effectiveness. You look at the Spain game before, who had clearly close to 80% of possession against Portugal. So to me, you either get a 6-1 win or you get a loss on penalties. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. So I think at the end of the day, from a coaching perspective and from a fan perspective, you want your team to win. Yes, you want to see beautiful football and all that, but at the end of the day, the result's the most important thing.
Correct. And listen, it is what it is. Portugal smashed Switzerland, and to be fair, I saw some people in some of the polls, there was a 50-50 poll on our Twitter polls, and also I didn't check our YouTube poll, and I really like that everybody's contributing to this, because heading into the game, a lot of people thought the game would have been a lot closer. Even our polls were literally half and half, 50-50. But this clearly didn't go how we thought it was going to go. I knew in my mind that Portugal was going to win this game. Moving forward, they have to play Morocco next. How do you think, Portugal are feeling, and what do you think Morocco is feeling? So let's talk quickly about Portugal real quick. This is not the full preview, but just your thoughts. Is Portugal hitting the right momentum to just blow past Morocco and have a good run to the final?
100%. I mean, as I say, I think all that off-the-field stuff, at the end of the day, it's about football. It's about winning games and getting results. And I think from that perspective, Portugal will be ready. I think if there is off-the-field problems, they will get that dusted tomorrow and be ready to play the next game. So I think they'll be ready to go. And I think the coaches, he made the right calls today. People will say what they want. Fans will say what they want. But at the end of the day, a 6-1 thumping in Switzerland, it's a fantastic result for him.
Yes. So, folks, Portugal, Brazil, they definitely made some statements between yesterday and today. And now we finally have the brackets. People are starting to go home. We're starting to know who the quarterfinalists are. James.
Absolutely mouth-watering. I mean, I know I'm smelling food here at Smoky and Bunty's on the Avenue.
Yes.
Which you can check us. We have our nice food place at the back too. But these games are just absolutely mouth-watering.
Yes. So we're going to take a quick look at some of the games in the quarterfinals. Well, it's down to the big boys, I think. Argentina take on Netherlands. Brazil take on Croatia. England take on Le Bleu, France. Portugal take on Morocco. So, let me know what you think about, the teams that are here. I think they deserve to be here, James. I mean, there's no shocks. I mean, even Morocco, people are saying it's a shock result, but they have been performing really well. But what are your quick thoughts on the upcoming matches?
Well, I mean, as I say, every single one of them is mouth-watering. Everyone's a contrast too. I mean, the only one that I have to say I'm very worried for you is that Netherlands against Argentina game is going to be critical. Also, England against France. I would say Brazil I don't want to say have it easier because we know how good this Croatia team is, but I think with the pace, the fluidity and the skill they have, I think they will just scrape it. And again, Portugal too, I think will just, they will handle Morocco. It won't be easy because they will be pegged back at times, and I think Morocco will be organised. But I think those two games are probably the easier ones to predict. Whereas, I mean, England against France, wow. I mean, will Harry Maguire have the stones to be able to handle Mbappe? and then from your point of view, will Messi be able to take care of that Dutch team? I mean, it's Fantastic games.
Yeah, I know, and it's a nightmare for us to analyze games because you could sit down and dissect, and then sometimes teams will come into form and then they lose, and then some teams are not in form and then they win. It's just ridiculous.
One interesting thought though,
Yeah.
every single one of these teams has young players coming through. We spoke
Correct.
about this before the game. We talked about Alvarez.
Yeah.
Obviously Argentina, he's been fantastic. Obviously Netherlands have Napo, but also they have Simmons, who came in the last game and looked very, very bright.
Correct.
You know, so
Not Lendl Simmons, folks.
Portugal obviously had Ramos today coming through. England have so many.
Yeah.
I mean, Foden. Some of them don't seem young because they've been on the scene for so long, but these are young players, you know. So I am so excited. I cannot wait to see these games. There'll be some tears, I can tell you that.
Oh, God.
But that is football, and that's what we want. That passion, you know, that anxiety too.
Yes, yes.
But I can't wait.
Yeah, so now we're the big boys, folks. This is where the tournament gets really, really serious. It's always been serious, but now this is where the top tier teams, however you pronounce it, get to the top, and we'll see who goes through. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. It's down to these teams. Let us know your predictions. We'll probably take a draw from who gets it right, and probably give out some more prizes, some hampers, and so on. The FIFA 23, we already gave out a FIFA 23 to Gregory Burris. Congratulations to him. And James, any other thoughts before we go?
Well, just one thing to obviously remind people. Obviously, the next 2 days we have a little break, so get your rest, get your sleep, because football's coming thick and fast again. And then thinking about that final on the 18th, just a few points to note. We want the best dressed fans to come. Ideally football related, but if you want to come in your fancy dress, there'll be prizes for that too. There'll be 6 packs of beer to give out from Stag, and Stag will be sponsoring a lot of the event. So there'll be so much going on. There'll be games going on. There'll be DJs here. It's going to be a wonderful event. Angostura will have prizes as well. And then all of our normal sponsors as well. Venture World Travel have that trip or 2 to Tobago, which, again, everybody wants to get their hands on. We have the shin guards to give away.
Yep.
We have, obviously, the watches people can come down and get. There is so many things, so many reasons to come down to here to Smoking Bunties, and also just the fact to meet you, me and you. You know,
Yes.
meet Andre and James.
Yes, if you have something you disagree with what we are saying, you can come down and let's have a chat. Let's talk about it. Do you think that James and I are speaking absolutely crazy stuff? That's why we love
Speaking
football.
Tata,
Yeah.
he went home already, but yeah.
Tata has gone home, folks, but you know, maybe it's still here. So let us know. That's why we're here. We had a lot of fun on Instagram. We have a whole bunch of interviews with the fans and so on. We'll put it out there as well. And you know, we had some interviews in the last episode. You know, the Argentina fans are representing. So we want to hear from the other fans, you know, out there. What are you saying? The Portuguese fans, the Brazilian fans, the English fans. Is it coming home? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. So once again, folks, like, subscribe, share, follow us on our respective social media for Smokey and Bunties, Extra Time TV, and continue to support us the way we have. It's getting dark. We're going to rotate our squad. You know, James and I are going to do some muscular regeneration and rest, so we'll come back in full form for the quarterfinals. So James, let's end the show like we always do.
So after a fantastic day of football, we enjoyed it. It was thrilling. Make sure you all tune into the greatest show on earth.
Yeah, yeah.